This was me when I was 33. I was ashamed, uncomfortable in my own skin, feeling like a failure because I kept making these health and fitness goals only for them to flop before I looked like this. So you can imagine how that really messed me up mentally. I turned to food to make me happy, so of course the pounds packed on very quickly. And so I hired a vegan weight loss coach and lost 10 pounds. 10 pounds, that's good, but it's not enough to get back to my normal self. It wasn't their fault. I didn't meet my ultimate goal. It was because of me and my mindset of living in the past. I kept thinking, if only I still was in my 20s, it would be different. At this point, I was convinced that losing weight in your 30s was just harder. It seemed to take on more effort, takes more time, it takes a lot of planning with all these meal preps, and of course the exercise. So much exercise, the weight training, the cardio, but you know what? Don't fall for it. It's not true. Everyone says losing weight after 30 is the hardest thing ever. Well, I am here to dispel that big, fat lie. Once I took inventory on how I was living my life differently than my 20s, that's when I realized what I needed to do. First thing I need to address. Girl, you are doing too much. There, I said it. You are exhausted and you don't even realize it. If you find yourself constantly on the go, you may be getting sick regularly, you're always feeling tired at work, yet still working late despite that. I get it, I've been there. And this may seem unrelated to your weight loss, but this is putting it to a complete halt because you're tired. So it's doing, at least for me, my experience, it does two things. You end up making poor decisions that you would not make if you were well rested. And two, when you're exhausted, the craving for dopamine is even higher. You need that fix, which also leads to poor decision making, which goes down this whole unintentionally self-sabotage, right? So yeah, you can do all the things, but slow the heck down, space them out, have busy days, but make sure you find time to relax afterwards, because once you do, you'll start making better decisions with food, which leads to the second thing. You're eating too many convenience foods, and I find this often happens because you're constantly on the go. So you gravitate to the protein bars, the protein cookies, the Lenny's cookies are my favorites, to be honest. And of course, the free snacks in the office, the catered lunches. But it also leads to the Uber Eats, the DoorDash, because you're short on time, right? You're so busy and you can still eat healthy, right? Trust me, it doesn't work. I was ordering the healthiest foods possible when I was ordering Uber Eats and it got me nowhere. Once I ate everything from home, every single day, the weight just fell off. And what's even better is I started to crave my own food. When friends would invite me out to dinner, I kind of just wanted to stay home and just cook my go-to meals and then meet up later. But I gotta stay social. And so do you. All right, so this third thing is a little bit heavier. In my experience, the reason why the weight wasn't coming off as quickly as it would in my 20s is because I was living life stressed out and in fear. Think about it. In your 20s, at least in my experience, and I hope most of you, were very happy-go-lucky, just living life in the present moment. You know that phrase about how if you are obsessing over the future, you are anxious, and if you are obsessed with the past, you're depressed. Well, if you're doing either one of those things, that's keeping you stressed and in fear and all those awful low vibration types of energy that we cannot have when we are on our weight loss journey. And these things stem from things we don't even realize, like being unhappy in your relationship that you've been in for 5 years. I know from experience where I thought everything was perfect, but when it really came down to it, there were some issues that needed to be addressed that weren't being addressed, How about work? We can be at a job for years and it's just how it is. The workplace is just how it is. Our boss is just how they are. Like, you can't change it, but you can change your job if it's making you unhappy. And on top of everything, we all put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. Let that sink in for a moment. How much pressure do you put on yourself to be the perfect partner, to be the best employee, to just be the best dog mom? Like, I don't know. But what happened to that free-spirited, life-loving, playful young woman that is still in there? This is what opened everything up, for me at least. And what I realized is that not just me, I feel like most people today in our society, you don't know when you're actually hungry. In fact, you're probably dehydrated. You're probably tired from poor sleep. For many of us, it's not even about the food. It's about wanting to feel good. It's about wanting to change how we feel inside, wanting to shift our energy. And food is a wonderful way to do that. And I think many of us do not understand our body, do not really know what's hunger versus dehydration. So that's something that I urge you to become more familiar with and to take baby steps with, however you want to go about it. Lastly, this is for my fit girlies who love going to the gym, love rock climbing, constantly active. Let's go swimming and paddleboarding, kayaking tomorrow, girlies. What I've learned is when I am in the zone like that, I am not recovering from my workouts. You are not recovering from your workouts. Even if you're saying this is like what do you call it? Active rest days. No, honey. You need to just sit your butt down and rest. And I mean, it makes sense. Like, how could the body recover when it's exhausted from the stress, exhaustion, lack of sleep, being in fight or flight mode constantly due to your stress and unhappiness at work or your relationship or the stuff going on in your family, on top of you constantly pounding it with the running, the kayaking, the rock climbing, the weightlifting. Come on, like, it's not just that time period that you're in the gym. It's also your life and the people in it that cause stress too. I mean, we love our family, we love our friends and people around us, but it still creates stress, and constant stress is going to not allow you to recover. Today, I challenge you to identify one thing you can do differently to prioritize your well-being. Any of this resonated with you, please click the like button so I know to make more videos like this.